Ladies and gentlemen, welcome your faces back to yet another episode of our Hearts of Iron 4 Millennium Dawn playthrough here as Poland. In the last couple episodes, we've had tensions rising, whilst not literally in the sense of the word, with there being a war, Japan wanting to invade Korea, North Korea is having a civil war. That's all going off in Asia. In Europe, it's a different scenario. The United States of America is at war with Syria, and Syria joined the CSTO, who, as you know, is led by Russia and has Ukraine in, and I'm part of NATO, which thankfully America hasn't called us into the war, because if they'd brought us into the war, with Russia being at war with the US and so is Ukraine, if they brought NATO into the war, it would be World War III. But with that being said, let's get ourselves rolling. I feel as though at the start of every single, every time I load up the game, I have to redo my trades. So on the days that it's a case of it's the first episode of a batch recording, I have to redo that, and it's kind of frustrating. I'll jot that as a note down. Bug, and then I'll put an arrow trade on opening save file. And then I might drop that into the Millennium Dawn Reddit. See if I can DM the mod maker, just let them know there's an issue there. They might be aware of it, because of the changes with there's going to be a weapons market or some shit that's coming out in the next DLC. That they might be focusing on the next version of Millennium Dawn relatively soon, right? Or the updated version. Got myself a coffee. Lovely stuff. We will accept from America. We no longer have the massive buff for civs and infrastructure, and we no longer have the debuff for mills as well. So that's all good. We are building some SAM sites for some anti-air up and down Poland to make sure, just if a war does kick off, we should be okay in that regard. Research-wise, we are working on some subs. We've still got the transport helicopters, which we want. Some 2005 anti-tank guided missiles. And then 100 kiloton thermonuclear warhead. Because reasons. So, how many United Russia's being re-elected? No surprise. Really, let's be honest. They are making money. They've got a severe amount of debt, though. So that's a thing. I want to see how many reactors we've got. None there. We have 2 in the capital. Do we have some in Silesia? We've got 2 in Silesia. Okay. Maybe build 1 in Lodz and then 2 down in Galicia as well. And we are obviously building up trains and converting some civs into mills just out of preparation for this war. I think in light of current situations, let's bump up our fuel reserves drastically. Let's max them out in these states. Maybe we can just hold more fuel I mean, granted, how much are we making per day that we're actually not being able to utilize? We're making 10,000 fuel a day. Max consumption for the army is 8,000 a day. Air is 20,000, right? So it would seem kind of annoying not to have a good amount of fuel reserves. Now, granted, we have 1 million in reserves, then I've just asked for another 6 to be built, which is going to give us a big bank in barrels of fuels. In barrels of fuel. Let us... Austria have 7% influence. Well, let's get rid. Make it down to 2%. Money's obviously coming in. GDP's rising. Could lease military factories. A bit of money for some mills, but I would like to get the treasury stocked up. Of course, we are obviously investing in other countries. Greece is now communist, and they're making money. That's a thing. That's kind of worrying. In 2012, Greece is going communist. Planes ain't doing too bad. Obviously, just producing them as we're going along. And these guys are all of our almost capped. Semi-functional planes, regulars and battle tested. Some greens here with the multi-rolls. But obviously we did go down on the cast production last time out. So we could get anti-tank guided missiles or mounted ATGMs. Thank you. We are obviously wanting just regular anti-tank guided missiles for the infantry, that is. And with the civs we are converting, well, we're actually making one in Silesia. But these guys are going to be done in July. Or one's going to be done in July, I should say. And then we've started building some dockyards as well. Because we obviously do want some subs at some point, which we are now producing. Because the convoys are finished. And our first submarine on one dockyard is going to be done well over 2 years from now. So we've got a long way to go before we have a more functioning navy. I mean, granted, we do have a sizable-ish navy, 12 ships. Well, 9 ships and 3 submarines, but all experienced, all somewhat new-ish. Like, that makes no sense. Canada's building in our country, but they're building in French Guiana, which is down here. That's not actually part of my country, but I'm being told about it. Like, what? Okay, Big Shack. Okay, you win. What's the deal with the research then? 160 billion, was it? Yeah, 167 billion. we would lose 140 million, which would put us at like 410, which would be around just below, I believe, the 10% debt to GDP. So I reckon if we let this kind of tick up to round about 50 billion, I'd be happy with that. So then it's only like 110. EU budget contribution is a lot of money a week. Labour Party in the UK has been re-elected. Some nationalism on the rise there in the UK. We can switch, maybe invest a little bit more, but like I say, I want to save up for the research, so we'll just get rid of that. Construction engineering, we've finished the railroads, right? SAM sites, air bases, infrastructure. So infrastructure's maxed. Railways okay. Naval bases are being built, so we could keep it for that. But I'm kind of just thinking about air production here. %10 cheaper. Let's switch that over. And now, with like max cap and then everything's 10% cheaper, we are obviously going to be making things a lot faster, which is what we want in a ramp up to potential certain death. Speaking of death and destruction, thermonuclear warheads, boom. Now, because we're struggling on like state size, maybe we come down the levels. It's like in each less reactors, but they're higher levels. So let's do advanced boiling water reactors. Then in 16 days, let's have a look at research. What do we want for the next bit of research here? Resource gain efficiency would be okay, but we don't have that many natural resources other than the steel here. So that's the main port of call for resource gain efficiency. Obviously, could come down, get the 1995 subs. Industry tech, we're on time with these guys. We are behind though on trickle back men and regular monthly population, which could be good. We do get 500 recruitable pop every month now, so that's good. Maybe extra fuel gain from refineries. Plus 50%. We have a few refineries, right? From industries, 9.6 thousand. So that's like, what, an extra 4,500? Makes it even more worthwhile to take it. So I reckon that's what we'll go for. We'll bump it up to 5 speed for the time being. It's kind of like, what's the word here? What's the phrase? Kind of like a cockfest. It's probably the best explanation I've got for what's going on here in Eastern Europe. It's like a Mexican bloody standoff. Whose dick's bigger than who else's? Oh, well, my dick's bigger. I got more tanks, dude. No, my dick's bigger. I got more men, dude. I have nuclear weapon. It's ready to go. Awesome thing. So, radar-wise, we're not doing too shabby. Maybe we bump up these guys to level 4 gives us increased range, so we know what's what. And we'll bump that up to a level 3 as well. Let's go ahead and get ourselves early biodiesel processing. Biodiesel has been sweeping growths in popularity versus other biofuel counterparts. However, there is a severe lack in the methods of producing biodiesel, so let's learn how to do that. It's a 2000 tech, 12 years behind. Let's get some biodiesel. I'm still amazed we're making over a tank a day just on 2 factories. It's pretty dope, actually. The UMP has been re-elected. Well, congratulations to you guys. And to Nicolas Sarkozy. Or Sarkozy. They have so much money in the treasury. That's unbelievable. Unbelievable, chat. Got to 43 billion. Or 43. Make almost like tuppence from naval yards. Yeah, and if you compare like the income I'm getting from my civs to my office sectors, so from 29 office sectors, I'm making 4 billion a week, and from 108 civilian factories, granted that number's going to go down because I am converting military civs into mills, but that's like just under half. And it's not even half the amount, so that just further proves my point that office sectors are definitely the way to go if you want to help your GDP. Ballistic missile silo. We've got one in... Yeah, we've got max across, so we have launch points. How are our orbital launch vehicles doing? 112 days. Okay. And then, yeah, Space Center and orbit. So then we grab one of these. Then we grab these. And then we say how many flights you want to do. And then we launch it into space and we become epic. Or something like that. So now we're paying around about... Well, we're actually paying more than Spain. The ratio of the budget that we're actually paying for. Germany's paying the most, at almost 15%. And we need rubber from Indonesia, because the mills are done. We need some technology metals to try and keep it in Europe if we can. Italy. Yes, please, sir. We need some more light metals, for which we will trade with our good friends, the United Kingdom. Turkey, Lithuania, and Hungary are all buying our steel. Papua New Guinea gains membership to the SCO. Now, for mills, trying to think here. What do I want more of? Like right now, trains were good. We're making just shy of one a month, which I'm happy with. Which I've already said. Could go for extra UAVs. But 4.5 gen air superiority fighters wouldn't be a bad call. So let's do that. Just over one a month right now. And we've still got 2 mills that are gonna pop out. So what else do we want? Let's say guns and C4I equipment. No, actually, no. Good on trucks, actually, for a good while. Maybe transports? Which one of our divisions has the transports? It's the... yeah, it's Lightning McQueen. And how many of you do we have? Lightning McQueen. 2. Could have swore we had more, right? What? 1, 2. Apparently we do only have 2. Maybe not on the transports then. But let's get an extra 2 out, because there's no reason why not to when war's gonna kick off, probably. And then we need 250 MBTs, which we have how many of? 400. So let's go ahead and train 1 main battle tank. Put you to high equipment priority. Put it at the top there. And then I think I'm happy with that. And then, yes, we will put an extra factory on utility vehicles, just so our tanks are not out of supply, our motorized units are obviously not out of supply. And then from there, maybe after that, we go for the transports. So we're at 55 billion right now. The GDP has gone down because we've switched from civs to mills. As you can see, we've lost 700 million from civs, and we've only gained about 200 million switching them over. But for the war, I'm happy. 166 billion. Well, we'll wait until he gets to 66 billion then. It's only about another, what is it, 10 weeks? To... Ugh, I can't do maths, it's only 5 weeks. Maniac. Yeah, give it another month, and then we'll go ahead and get the max upgraded laboratory equipment. Early surface nuclear reactors are done. Could go ahead and get improved sonar, which we will, because I'm just being conscientious that I want at least one of the 1980s to be done. Yeah, and it's going to get more dockyards, you see. soon. Fuel reserves increasing. Tell you what, guys, that was a nice coffee. Plus that focus we've got with the air as well. Don't really need to go... I could go crazy on air because it's cheaper. But it's not a necessity. Making one a month. Which we've come a long way for that. $168. It's gone up 3 billion. (22nd of September) for a new reactor. As we get our first manually constructed dockyard out, which bumps up to September of next year. And then, when are you going to come out? You're going to come out of December this year, so that's probably going to bump it up to, I don't know, like February, maybe? Something like that. How is Slovakia doing? In fast growth now, they're no longer in a boom. But they are making money. Let's just do like a army comparison. We're like on the low end of their military. Planes wise, we're about half. They have a lot more men than we do. But we are producing a lot more equipment than them. So that's good. What about Belarus? Because realistically, right, the main breadth of the fighting, of the actual landmass, if the war does kick out, is obviously against Ukraine. And then a lot of the forces will come from Russia as well. So that's something to keep an eye on. They have double our military prowess, but we've got more civs than them. So realistically, our economy is way better. What's their GDP? Per capita, yeah, 24,000. And our 24,000 per capita compared to our 98,000. And then we actually have a higher GDP than them. By how many millions? How many billions, sorry? Like 300 billions? Yeah, thereabouts. Next research, System 80. Boom. More nukes, baby. Mounted 2005 ATGMs. Let's switch you over. Can we make a variant? We can. Extra heart attack or extra piercing. Ooh. That's something to keep an eye on then, but let's just switch you over for now. Research slot is available. Let us improve our artillery situation. And let's go ahead and upgrade lab equipment. So in 90 days, we will lose whatever's in our treasury, plus just shy of 100 billion as well. So we've managed that quite well. Take 100 billion in debt, get an extra research slot, rather than 160 billion in debt. Education spending increase will be an extra 4%. So 1% is 7.8 billion. So you're looking at like an extra 28 billion. So that's going to put it up to 0.819-ish. Thereabouts. Somewhere in that ballpark figure. Go ahead, attack influence from Finland. Basically knock out all the high influence guys in our country. We've got the political power to do it. And let's combat foreign influence as well. So we get an extra 2% increase. Finland get a 5% decrease as well. So we get an extra 7% influence back. Just in case anything gnarly goes on. Slovenian election. Slovenian Democratic Party form a new government. Will welcome Janez Janša. They're only just making money. Did they have a lower corporation tax rate? They do, but they have a higher population tax rate. Looking at these radars as well that are being produced, as well as the glorious. I think we might actually go up to 2 million stockpile fuel there, guys. Army's max consumption a day has gone up to 12,500. That's probably because we've got more engine stuff in production. Which makes sense, right? And everything is working right now at producing something. Maybe just build up a little fault line down here in the south. That's actually not in my country. On the river line. Say like level 2 from Warsaw down to Katowice. Sorry, I don't know why I said Katowice. Not sure how you would pronounce that in Polish, but yeah. But I'm just looking at the time, guys, and that's gonna have to do it for today's episode. If you did enjoy, drop us a like down below. It's greatly appreciated. We are, of course, gearing up for war in Europe, should it happen, because America hasn't actually invaded Syria yet. They don't have the balls to call NATO in, so that's that. But with that being said, drop a like down below. Subscribe if you're new. It is free, and you can always change your mind later down the line. And be sure to check in every day at noon. That's 12 PM British Standard Time, so if you don't know what that time is in your time zone, give it a little look online on Google, and I'll be sure to see you tomorrow for yet another episode. Take care. Bye-bye.